What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode 8 of Nostalgia Mania. I am your host, the real Josh Elliott, and back with us this week is the man, the myth, the legend, Stich Mania. What's up, brother?
Not much. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. We missed you last week. We talked about Super Punch-Out.
I know, man. I wish I could have been there, but I couldn't.
Hey, I think you tuned in for a little while. I think my Uncle Jason did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
And he had fun. He had a blast. He definitely wants to do it again. So we may be having him on future episodes of Nostalgia Mania. So
yeah, if it definitely would have worked out better, man, we would have loved to have this episode for our number 7 episode. But
I know that would have worked out perfect. 007, obviously 007. Yeah. Yeah.
The only bad thing is I still wouldn't have been able to do it. So then I would have been really upset.
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely had to save this episode for one both of us could be on. Because this is a huge episode. Shout out to Autumn who's in the chat. Appreciate her tuning in each and every week, pretty much. I think she's been here every week.
Yeah.
So probably on her big screen TV in her living room. That's I usually get a screenshot of that. Throughout the episode, so it's pretty cool to see. So
it makes us look even uglier than.
Oh yeah, yeah. We don't need any help in that category for sure.
What's it? Cotton 4K? Is that?
Yeah. Yep. It is on my TV. Yep. Love it. So man, this is episode 8. We are 4 or 5 hours away from Thanksgiving. So what do you got planned for tomorrow for Thanksgiving?
Well, I'm gonna just enjoy it with my girlfriend. We're probably gonna go over to her friend's house and have dinner with her and her son and her son's girlfriend. So
nice.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I wasn't here for last week, was because I went and celebrated Thanksgiving at my mom's. So, yep.
CR Media in the house. We are currently live on CR Media Facebook, but he is tuning in via the YouTube. So appreciate you for putting our YouTube numbers up, Mr. Riley.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, we're doing kind of the same thing. We're hosting. We always alternate every other year for Thanksgiving. So I got my wife's family coming over, and should be a fun time. Yeah. Just took my kids today actually to Moana 2.
How was that?
Today was opening day, so it was pretty good, man. If you like Moana, the first one, I mean, it was pretty good. Had a good story to it, and it played off the first one pretty well. So
I
enjoyed it. Kids loved it. It was Jared's first time at the theater, so
nice.
He did good for the most part. He's there toward the end. He started getting up and
Yeah.
wandering a little bit. We had a bunch of seats, but yeah, he did good for the most part.
Did you just throw the popcorn bucket at him and tell him to sit back down, or what?
No, he dumped it on himself.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. Me and him were eating, throughout the movie, and then I was done, and I said, "Here, share it with your brother." And I swear, like 10 minutes later, it is all over the seat. So, Matty McDonald's, Matt Holland, I believe, is his last name. Joshy Glasses, that's where I got that nickname, or he self-proclaimed nickname on the I-70 hot tag.
Okay.
You see me at Chuck E. Cheese. Interesting.
Man, I haven't been to Chuck E. Cheese since Nam.
I've taken my kids twice. So if Matt has seen me at Chuck E. Cheese, and it's been at least a year, and it's only been one of two times. I never went as a kid. I was not a Chuck E. Cheese kid. So that's kind of. I went to Jungle Gyms. I don't know if you remember Jungle Gyms. It was an indoor amusement park, and it was smaller rides. It wasn't nothing big, but it was for kids.
Yeah.
So it had playgrounds and little rides and stuff. So anyway, as we kind of move forward here, we are in episode 8. As I said, we're live on our YouTube, as we always are at the Real Josh Elliott, as well as my Twitch page at the Real Josh Elliott. My Twitch page usually has 0 viewers on it. I don't have but like 4 followers on it. So, but we are also live on CR Media on his Facebook account. He does a lot of wrestling content, sports content. He has, and that's Chase's account. He co-hosts the I-70 Hot Tag with me, which also we are coming back to next Thursday. The I-70 Hot Tag makes its return.
Oh,
interviewing a wrestler, Atlas Armstrong. So he's a Kansas City wrestler. So be sure to tune in there. Yes, agreed. Agreed. Yeah. So with that being said, Stich, do you want to tell everybody where we can follow you on your social medias, my friend?
Definitely on Facebook at Derrick Stich. On TikTok at Stitchamania. Twitch, Stitch F and Mania. So yeah. The Facebook is really the only social media that I use on a regular basis. Pornhub. Oh yeah.
Okay, boomer. If you only use Facebook, then the youngsters are going to call you old.
Yeah, so, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think all the kids are using Instagram and Snapchat. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So.
So you can follow me on the same platforms. I got an X and an Instagram as well at the Real Josh Elliott. Josh Elliott 12 on X. Did just sign up for Blue Sky. It is a Twitter variant X, different platform to very similar to Twitter. And you can go follow me over there as well. I probably won't post very much. As much as I post on X, so which isn't very often. But before we dive into this, man, you see what our topic is. Let's talk a little about what we talked about last week because you were not there. Give me a brief overview of your history and your memories playing Super Punch-Out for SNES.
I played it with my dad a lot. Me and my dad played the crap out of the game. We both loved it. I just remember trying to, and this was before looking up cheat codes, hints, I would sit there and try to beat all the boxers like the quickest that I could. And some of them I did really, really good on.
Yeah.
But I just Punch-Out, man. It's always been one of those games that I've loved since I was a kid, and still to this day. The only Punch-Out game I probably haven't played very much of is the one on Wii. But yeah, love those games, man. Absolutely love them.
I'm getting this last screenshot. But did you say something that you were trying to beat the characters as fast as you could?
Yeah, like trying to, and this was before, like it became a popular thing to do, and posting it online and internet, became a thing, and
Did you?
so
Did you? I know you tuned in for a very little bit.
what?
um, so did you see the part where we had where we told you where people or how fast the world records were for fighting the
Oh
fighter?
no,
So
I don't remember what part I actually tuned in on.
the longest, and this is off my memory, the longest it took somebody to beat was Nick Bruiser, and they beat him in 19 seconds.
Wow,
That was the fastest. Everybody else was quicker than that, all the way down to Piston Hurricane, which was just under 5.5 seconds.
Yeah, because Piston Hurricane, you hit him, you hit him in the gut.
You hit him in the gut, but also sometimes when he does his taunts, the time stops. So it's not actually 5 real seconds; it's 5 game seconds. So it's really probably
I don't
a
think I
12
ever
or 15.
realized that.
Yeah, it's probably a 15-second fight, but
Yeah,
when he's dazed and like moving around, it's the
Yeah.
time actually stops.
Huh?
So
Don't know if I ever noticed that.
yeah. So that's why some of those, I think a lot of those have to do with that feature of the time stopping while you can't punch them.
That makes sense.
So let's, where we at? There we go. All right, I've got the last one uploaded. We are good to go. Let's hop in, man. We're talking about 007 GoldenEye for Nintendo 64. Before we start, what T-shirt you got on?
Nintendo 64.
Oh, just an N64 one? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. We're talking about GoldenEye, man. One of the best, if not the best, video game of the 90s and 2000s. I mean, this game was, and we'll get into it in a little bit, it was ranked number 1 on many lists of video game, magazines, IGN, all those
should be.
Yeah, 1,000%. So as we dive into this, as we do every week, this game was developed and released on August 23rd, 1997, and it was released by a company called Rare. It's actually Rare Limited is the company name. It's a British developer. It's a studio of Xbox Game Studios, actually, and they have a lot of games from on their platform that they have under their belts.
It's called Rare Replay.
Rare Replay.
It's called Rare Replay, and you can download a whole like collection of them, and you can play them. So, because this game was on there, but it was just added like on Xbox like within the last couple of years, and I think in order to be able to download it, if you had Game Pass, you had to have like Rare Replay or the game, or I don't remember something like that.
Sorry, the chat is distracting me. It is wild. Josh Booby Cake Boy has a picture of a profile picture. He does. And he gone. Ba-boom. All right, Rare. What I wanted to talk about was some of the games that they've released, and that is I'm sure you are familiar with a couple of these games, but they've released Battletoads, Donkey Kong, Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Sea of Thieves, and really the list goes on. I didn't even list them all, but those were kind of the top ones that they've produced. So this is a pretty big company. Different than the company we talked about. I'm trying to get back to it. There you go. Different than the company we talked about making Twisted Metal, because they only were known for making Jet Moto and Twisted Metal, and that was it.
Yeah.
They didn't really make anything else. This company is constantly throwing out bangers. So,
yep.
So let's get into this. Let's start off. I don't want to jump into this. I don't want to go too quick. Let's start with you because you played this game. You know what? Let's just start with how we always start it. Let's start with the 007 GoldenEye intro. Then we'll get into the gameplay. We're not going to be hit with another copyright violation this week. So none of the songs you normally would hear in this game or in the pop culture section are going to be the actual theme songs, at least not the majority of it. I'll play a couple seconds of the beginning, but that's about it. As you may know, we were hit a couple times last week. Damn WWF, All American Wrestling, they slapped a copyright. We were banned in 7 states or 7 countries. Sorry, and
we're illegal, man. We're illegal.
We are. And this account has all the hot tag episodes, has all that. We don't need this account to get shut down. So
yeah, because all three of our viewers would be very upset.
They would be. They would be. Absolutely. And yeah, our show is non-existent on the hot tag anymore, so it's not like people would be upset about that. So this game, like I said, is one of the best Nintendo 64 game, bar none. And you, as I told you on a previous episode, when we did Revenge and World Tour, I did not own a Nintendo 64 until like way later. I went from Super Nintendo to PlayStation. And so I didn't play this nearly as much as you did. So you have a lot more experience and knowledge and memories of this. So why don't you go ahead and start off? Just kick off. Tell us your memories of it, what you liked about the game, and then I'll kind of chime in a little bit, and we'll kind of go back and forth. But you start off. You get the most memories of this thing. So
GoldenEye to me is one of my favorite games of all time. It still is to this day. And I actually have it on my Xbox, and I've actually been playing it quite a bit. And of course, it's been years upon years that I've played it. So it's kind of hard remembering, what all you have to do to progress through these levels and beat them, stuff like that. And I remember playing that game so much that I literally spent all the time that I could playing it, trying to beat the levels in a certain amount of times, or in a certain amount of time, to be able to unlock every single cheat code for that game, because there was a pretty big list. And paintball mode was probably the number one favorite cheat code on that game to have.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, paintball mode. Yeah, it can be one of the very first cheats you unlock. But man, the only thing I never did fully on that game, because I completed it, the only thing I never did was I didn't play every level on 007 mode because there was Agent, Secret Agent, and 00 Agent. And then if you beat all the levels on 00 Agent, then you were able to unlock 007 mode. So that's the only thing I never did. And when I was younger, not like kid-wise, but just younger, I had my Nintendo 64 hooked up so Josh, my little brother, could play my Nintendo 64 games and some other console games and stuff like that. Games like Mario Kart and just games that he liked to play. And 007 was one of those. Well, on the start screen, you have files that you can choose. Well, he deleted pretty sure he deleted my file on there that I had. So it was all gone. Or yeah, so at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because, but it's not there anymore. So, but man, I played it so much that that was like one of my goals that I wanted to do. I wanted to set out and I wanted to beat it to get unlock all the cheat codes.
And 007 mode was like a difficulty level, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was supposed to be the highest difficulty level in the game. So,
nice. Because like I said, I didn't own an N64, so my memories playing this game was not ever that I can recall ever playing the story mode to it.
Yeah,
I would always go and play four-player multiplayer.
Yep.
Which, funny enough, I actually posted this on our Facebook page that multiplayer mode was like an afterthought. It was something that was developed at the very, very, very late stages of development. That it wasn't even supposed to be in the game.
Yeah.
Originally, and somebody in over a course of, and I don't have the timeline, but like it was like within the last like month of development, they created this iconic, really first of its time multiplayer mode, because I don't think you had 4 players in a shooting game or a first person shooter game before this that I can recall. I mean, maybe there was, there probably was, but like, and this is one of the most fun games that I can remember playing on a any system, really.
Yeah.
But super fun on so you're going to have all the information on or at least not all the information, but you're going to have way more information than I will on single player mode. I got some screenshots of
the dam.
See, you can even name the obviously that wasn't him, but
yep.
Like
that's the first gun actually, PP7.
Yep. This game's actually in our intro, in our countdown.
Yep.
So we got a clip of that in there. We'll kind of run through a couple of these screenshots.
The facility.
Yep. I remember this one. This is a level we played.
Yeah, so this was one of the levels you had in multiplayer also. And the thing of it is you start out in the vent in this game. Well, in multiplayer, if you push the certain amount of buttons and you move your controller the right way or whatever, well, not move the whole controller, but do the button sequences, you could actually, what you do is you go on the stall that has the hole in it and you'd spin around in circles and you were able to actually get back up into that vent and you could hide up there. So anybody comes in, you could just take them out. So, because I knew how to do that out of all my friends. So, nice. Needless to say, I wrecked some people in that game. I really did. There was, and you know what? I'm not just saying that just to make me look good on here. I'm really not, because I've got a little side story to that to make me look bad too. There was one time I was over at my friend Tony's house, and Chase knows who my friend Tony is, and it was him, his mom, and his friend David, and then me. And I was so good at that game because I played it so much. I said, hey, how about you 3 versus me? And needless to say, yeah, it was not it wasn't a match. It was me shooting them and winning every time, and they were getting tired of it. And so, but then the little side story to that as well is one of my old places that I used to live. We lived in this apartment complex, and one of my neighbors, he was actually pretty cool. Got to talk to him a lot. Chase knows him. His name's BJ. He was really big into the car scene. Had some Honda Civics and stuff like that he customized and did things like that with. And I used to talk smack to him all the time. I used to be like, man, I'm so good at 007. I could beat you. I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread when it comes to that game, and then finally he played me. He 1v1 me. And he destroyed me at that game. But in my defense, it had been a long time since I played that game as religiously as I did.
Right.
So, because there were other games that had come out, and Yeah.
So I remember, this isn't necessarily GoldenEye, but I remember this. I did the same thing. Like when I was with when I used to play, we all used to play Madden all the time, and we used to think we were, unstoppable, untouchable, just because we're beating our circle of 4 or 5 friends that we think we're the best in the world, and then when online mode came out and you get destroyed like 50-10 or something, you're like, wow, I'm not as good as I thought I was.
Yep. I'm the king of the world.
Yeah.
And then I'm not.
So speaking of how well this game did, man, this GoldenEye sold 8 million copies and was the 3rd most sold video game on Nintendo 64. It is 3rd place. Can you guess what the 2 games that sold more copies than 007 did?
Probably Super Mario. But see, that's the thing though. That game came with the Nintendo 64. Super Mario 64 came with the Nintendo 64.
That's number 1. So, Super Mario is number 1.
Probably Ocarina of Time is number 2.
No, it is not. Actually, Mario Kart 64 was number 2.
Wow.
Ocarina
of
Time.
Mario games?
Yeah, 2 Mario games, then 007, and I think Ocarina of Time was either 4 or 5. I remember when we did the other N64 games, or maybe it was the first episode. I think the Ocarina of Time was number 5 or 4 for an N64. So, but so it's number 3. But here's some accolades. I'm going to run through some of these accolades I looked up. In 1997, which was just shortly after the game was released, Electronic Gaming Monthly ranked GoldenEye the 25th best console game of all time. In 99, Next Generation editors placed GoldenEye at number 10 on their list of 50 best video games of all time. This is all time. This is not just for N64. In 2000, computer and video game readers ranked GoldenEye first in a magazine poll of the best 100 video games of all time. So it ranked number 1 there.
Yeah.
In 2004, Retro Gamer ranked at 33rd. And in 2005, IGN ranked it 29th on their list of top video games. So, I mean, you're in the top 30 all the way up until mid-2000s. And then, obviously, you get the next-gen systems and you get better graphics. And then it probably starts slowly falling down the list. But, I mean, one of my favorite games. Again, I didn't play it as often, but, I mean, it's up there and definitely in a top 10 category for me. And that's not playing it. I mean, if I had an N64, had I owned this game, had I played it as much as you, it would be probably top 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely in my top 5.
So let's jump here. Do you want to do some screenshots, or do you want to do some gameplay? What you thinking?
We can do both, man. You can do
let's
one and then one, and
let's run some screenshots here. Did we look at this one yet?
That's facilities. No.
That's facility.
Yep. That's
So,
the bathroom level. So
no, oh, this is the same one as the bathroom?
yep.
All right.
Surface. I'm pretty sure that's
No.
surface.
Yeah, it is. I think I'm almost positive.
Yeah, because you see that's library or the stacks, something like that. But also looks like facilities as well, kind of a little.
Yeah, the green kind of.
And the funny thing is about this screenshot is though that gun right there, it was the DD something DD like 3Ds. I don't know. I never knew how to pronounce that, but that was always my favorite gun. I liked the way that silver gun looked. It was always one of my favorite guns on this game. And when you shoot it, it sounds so loud.
That's awesome. Hey, let's watch some gameplay and we'll come back and I got a screenshot for them. I skipped the cheats. We talked about it a little bit earlier, so we'll come back and talk about the cheats to the game here after we watch some gameplay. Nutter butter. You didn't see that, did you? I take these screen grabs. I was only going to mention it, but I take these screen grabs through my phone, and I got a text message as I was doing it. I didn't clip it out.
Oh.
And my wife sent me a message and asked for it. That's why I wanted a nutter butter.
just grab one and throw it up the step.
Right.
Or down the steps.
It's funny. So let's look at. You want to talk cheats?
Yeah, we can definitely talk cheats.
We pulled this screenshot. So these are all the cheats to the game. Am I accurate in saying that?
Yeah.
So what? So like I said, paintball mode is something that I completely forgot about. I remember playing that quite often with multiplayer mode. But Golden Gun was one that I was a game mode that was it called The Man with the Golden Gun? Is that the name of it? And it's just basically
the game mode. Yeah,
and you get it's a single shot kill, right?
Yep.
And then I remember playing License to Kill, which is one hit kills, making every shot lethal.
Yep.
You only live twice. Players had only 2 lives before elimination and then capture the flag. But talk to us. I mean, tell us what some of these, do you have some explanations on what some of these cheats were and how to get them?
Basically, you just had to, on certain levels, usually on Secret Agent or 00 Agent, you had to beat the certain levels within a certain amount of time. And each difficulty level, obviously it's harder, but you have more tasks that you have to do and complete before you win the level. But one of my favorites was always paintball mode.
Yeah,
obviously infinite ammo is also a good one too. All guns. So, because you could literally have every single gun in the game. And you could play through with these cheats. You could go through single player with these cheats. So once you unlock the cheats, then you could play the single player with them, and that made playing the single player fun.
So
because
you could play single player with paintball mode if you wanted to.
Yeah,
Nice.
Some of these cheats though, they were hard to get, man. There's one cheat code. I'm not sure which one it is, but you have to defeat the train episode level. You have to beat the train in a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And that one was always a tough one. So, because at the end of the train, you had to save Natalia and not let her get killed. So that was always tough to do.
Yeah. So let's look at this is the screenshot for single player. So as I said, I didn't play single player. I don't think at all that I can remember. What are some of your favorite single player levels that you can remember?
Bunker. I did like Bunker. Unless it was unless you got alerted and then you send the I don't know, the tougher bad guys with the better guns after you, and those guys usually had like double guns. So
right.
They were coming for you. Man, Bunker was always a fun one because the two bunkers were actually very similar because they were basically the same level. So were Surface. They were just you did different missions, basically in the same level. So, but man, Egyptian and Aztec, those were tough levels because those aren't unlocked until later. Because I think you have to beat all the levels on secret agent mode or double agent. Yeah, secret agent. Yeah. Agent, secret agent, double O agent. Yeah, you had to beat all the levels, I believe, on secret agent to unlock Aztec and Egyptian level.
And then here's the multiplayer mode or the multiplayer maps, which is I'm most familiar with.
Yeah. Those were basically like parts of the single player levels that were taken and used for multiplayer.
Yep.
Because you didn't have the whole level to be able to play multiplayer in.
For sure.
So.
Yep. Yeah. Like I said, I remember the facility. Library is one I remembered. And then I believe looking back at some of the old clips that I pulled for the game, Temple and Complex were two that we played quite a bit as well. Those are the four that I remember the most out of all of these. But
Temple.
I don't remember Egyptian or Caverns. I know I don't remember Egyptian very much. I'm sure we played it, but
yeah. Temple was kind of fun because you could look up high. Because if you look on the little picture there, you could actually look down upon, and you could just rain and shoot people from up above. So that always made it a tough one. And then the second one, Complex. Complex was a tough one because you could get lost, and there was actually a little area that you could actually, like an invisible wall that you could go through, and you could hide behind there. And then people would get lost, and then they'd end up walking back there, and you were sitting there waiting for them, and you could just, shoot them. So
let's pull up a couple more of these screenshots.
That is definitely not GoldenEye 007. That is a GoldenEye game or a 007 game. I'm not sure which one that is though, because there was multiple games that spawned that were 007 games, like Agent of Fire, some other ones. I can't quite remember the names of them. But
yeah, so I quickly got a couple of those screenshots there before the show started. So the last three that I got, I probably scrolled too far down, and I probably started getting into the more current 007 games. So I'm not even going to show the next ones.
Well, you might as well.
All right, let's do it. I mean, what do you
remember?
Well. Is this?
That looks like that's actually the same game, but I don't know which game that is.
Yeah, I need to find it. I need
Because
to go back to that website.
me and Brody actually, we played one on, I think it was GameCube or PS2. It might have been Agent of Fire or I can't remember exactly what the name was, but you had a grappling hook that you could use on multiplayer, and that was actually pretty fun. But I mean, it still didn't capture the other 007 games that came out after GoldenEye. They didn't capture the. Yeah, they look better, but they didn't capture the the fun that GoldenEye had.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's hard to imitate and mimic that.
Yeah,
that
because
type of fun.
the Wii came out with GoldenEye Reloaded, and you had to use the nunchuck along with the controller. Like you had to have the nunchuck in one hand and then the other. Yeah, I didn't even. I remember Brody playing it and trying it out because I don't remember how we were playing it, or we might have rented it. That's what I think it was. I think we rented it, or somebody rented it, and we were playing it, and it just because he was describing to me that you had to use the nunchuck. Well, I mean, I could see that he was using the nunchuck, but it was just harder for him to control it. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna try it. I'm not gonna play it because I just knew I knew that it wasn't gonna live up to GoldenEye. So
Right, yeah, it's like I said, it's hard to do something like that. So, and this game being so great,
yeah, and this game, this game was actually after the GoldenEye 007 movie, so it followed it pretty well, pretty closely. So I think I actually saw the movie one time, but that was it. Because and then 64 came out with I think one or two more Nintendo 64 games or 007 games. The World Is Not Enough, which was also another Pierce Brosnan 007 game, and then or maybe Tomorrow Never Dies was a different system. I can't remember. But
right? So we've got
I don't
we've
have
got
much memory of those games, so sorry, go ahead.
Interrupt you. No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I've got one more clip for some gameplay. Again, we're going to listen to some random piano 007 music, and then don't forget. I mean, we didn't say it at all. It's been scrolling across the screen here. We've got another video game bracket that we plugged into Chat GPT, which is going to take episodes 5, 6, 7, and 8. I've got 3 characters from each game that's going to go into a wrestling bracket, and we're going to let Chat GPT kind of walk us through. Again, that's coming at the end of the show. I probably should have started with that when we had more viewers, but regardless, that is still coming. So don't go away for that. So let's take a look at some more gameplay of 007 GoldenEye in 64. Never played the game. This was well before your time, Autumn.
Oh yeah.
97. Yeah, you weren't born for another 7 years, 6 years. So Before we get into the ending part of our show, let's dive into kind of what made the game, for me at least, and probably most gamers, what made the game so iconic was that multiplayer mode. The one-on-one, you could play 3 players, 4 players, didn't matter. It's always fun to go, run to the refrigerator, get some snacks, get some drinks, have 3 buddies over, and you all got an N64 controller, preferably one of different colors because everyone had their own favorite color.
Oh,
N64
yeah.
controller.
Yep.
And plug in and play, and that could be an all-night ordeal. You could be 7 o'clock at night, and you wouldn't be turning it off until your parents got up for work the next morning.
Yep, turn it off right before they wake up, get in bed, act like you're asleep.
Yep.
Man,
done that many times.
Yep. Man, I have the gray controller, I have the clear purple controller, I have the solid blue controller. I had the red controller, but I don't remember what game it was. So when I was younger, I had my TV, my little 14-inch little TV on my dresser, along with my Nintendo 64. And I'd usually sit in like a desk chair or on my bed and I'd play. And I remember getting so mad at a game. So mad. I don't remember which game it was. I wish I did, just for the purposes of the story. But I grabbed my red controller and I threw it as hard as I could at my dresser and hit the bottom of the dresser and broke the joystick completely off of it, man. I was mad. I was mad because I threw it, obviously, and then I was mad that I broke it because I got mad. So yeah, it's
my controllers have had plenty of I've done damage to the wall. I've thrown controllers at the wall before. It's yeah. I've had my fair share of angry moments as well, but
yeah, I don't think I ever threw mine at the wall, but
oh yeah,
my old house
on I did it on I did it as an adult. It was on Harrison, my first house with Megan. I think it was on our Madden league, and I think I ended up at the very last second losing a game, and I just threw the controller like off to the side like this, and it hit the wall and put a tiny little dent in it.
Well, Madden is definitely worth throwing your controller over.
Yeah.
So
anyway, let's dive into this multiplayer. Like I said, man, I don't have exact numbers and exact time frame, but I posted it on our social media. If you don't follow us, we're on Facebook at Nostalgia Mania. We are looking to get as many followers as we can. Then we can start going live on that platform, and instead of just going on YouTube. But I did post that as I was doing my research on the game, multiplayer was an afterthought. It was not supposed to be in the game, and a couple developers worked on it for like a month and threw it in last second, and the rest is history. It's one of the most fun multiplayer games, even still to this day, that you could play, especially in a local LAN game where it's everybody in one room. Let's what do you have to talk about on multiplayer?
Yeah, I was hoping that when they released 007 for Xbox, that you could play, from Game Pass, I was really hoping that they were going to allow online multiplayer for the game, but sadly they did not. Which it's fine to an extent because you do that, then you start kind of ruining the integrity of the game. You know what I mean? You start adding stuff to it that wasn't originally there. Because when you come out with remasters or remakes or re-release a game or whatever, and you update it, you change it, sometimes that's good and sometimes it's bad. Because that's what they change it, then they start adding stuff. So it's not like what you remembered as a kid. One things that they should do when they remaster is definitely the graphics. But don't completely change the game, add a whole bunch of features. But one of the characters that everybody either wanted to be or hated because the other person was Oddjob. Because Oddjob was a short guy, and he was very hard to see and very hard to kill. And guess who I was? I was always Oddjob. I was the jerk of the group because I knew that would help me win my games. But he wasn't my favorite character. My favorite character was actually, I forget his name, but he's the general in like the tan uniform and the hat and stuff like that. He was always one character that I mostly was, because a lot of the times your friends and your buddies knew that whoever was Oddjob was probably going to 9 times out of 10 win the majority of the matches. So a lot of the times people would implement, okay, you can be anybody except Oddjob. Like Oddjob was off limits. And what's kind of cool to an extent is a game called Rainbow Six Siege actually has a bunch of operators in their game. And what Rainbow Six Siege is, it's a lot like, think of like Call of Duty's Search and Destroy, but it's like attacking and defending. You set up strong points to defend from the attackers, and you take turns, being the attacker and the defender. But they have the operators on there that have certain abilities. And then they have, like, so if you're an attacker, then they have somebody that can probably defend that attack and vice versa. And if you played ranked, you could ban certain characters. You could take turns banning 2 characters if you wanted to. And 9 times out of 10, the characters that, were the good ones were the ones that were banned. But yeah, Oddjob was always that one guy that either somebody wanted to be or, told you couldn't be him. So
that for me, that struck a nostalgia chord for me because like I remember obviously Oddjob, and it was always you can't ever be Oddjob. Like when I would go over to my buddy Bryce's house because he had the N64, he had the wrestling games, he had this game. And we, after football practice or football games, we'd go up there, and it was always anybody but Oddjob. And that's just all. So I didn't have much experience playing as Oddjob just because he was always off limits. So, and obviously rightfully so, because dude's short and very hard to hit with any gun, to be honest. Yep. So unless you have the golden gun, you got lucky, and so. But yeah. It's by far, like I said, it's my most fun first person shooter game, and this is one that when we started this podcast, I was like, we absolutely is going to be in the first 10 episodes. I thought we'd get it in the first 5, honestly, but the way we were kind of moving through different systems. We didn't get to it. We actually did a wrestling game first, which, again, I know we do. We get Zelda as the logo, but Mania comes from wrestling. So our first N64 game was wrestling. So, but anyway, I do not Stich Mania. I do not have those. So it was in the intro.
Yeah.
But did you have anything else that you wanted to cover with this game before we jump into the bracket and the pop culture section?
Well, so I got a side little story here.
Okay.
So my brother has my younger brother, Jacob. He has an iPhone and so he has an Apple Watch. And so when I was deciding on whether or not to get a smartwatch, I ended up getting, a Samsung Galaxy Active 2, or Galaxy Watch Active 2, whatever. And one of the reasons why I got it Stupid. But, because the watch in 007 was such an integral part of the game. Because you used it to look at your missions. You used it to look at your stuff that you had collected that you needed for the level. You could just abort the mission, see your missions, mess with it. It was basically like your settings or your pause. That's basically what your watch was. It was your pause. And so it was such an integral part of the game because when you paused it, he would bring up his watch. And so when I was talking to my brother about getting a watch, he's like, hey, don't do it. You're going to regret it. You're not going to use it very much. Well, I use my watch quite a bit. And the main reason why I got the watch was because you could put different faces on it. So guess what I did? Now, this is a different watch. This is the Galaxy Watch 4. But I have the 007. It's a little blurry, but a little shiny. But I have the watch face for my watch.
That's awesome.
And now it's very interactive, and it would beep, and it would go to different screens. Like this screen is the battery life, and then the steps. And then you click on the next screen, and then it shows the hand. Well, if you press up, sorry guys, it's a little difficult. If you press up, it would make the chopping noise for the hand. So, and then you go to the next screen, and it would actually show you. So, like unarmed, and then you could go to PP7. Hold on. You go to PP7 silenced, and it would make the noise of what the gun did. And then you can go down. It's only unarmed, PP7 silence, and then the KF7 Soviet, which is like the AK-47 basically. So you'd pick what gun you wanted, and then you go to the next screen, which just shows like mission objectives, but they're not actual mission objectives. And then you go back to the screen after you select the gun. Sorry, it's a little slow. And you can press up, and it would make the noise of, I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but it would make the noise of the gun. And now this is a different app than what my Active 2 had. So it's a little different, but it's a lot more interactive. But one thing I did like about that one on the Active 2 was on the left side, like on GoldenEye on the watch, it would show your life on the left, and it would show your body armor on the right. Well, on the Active 2, the left was your steps. Or no, one was your battery life. So your life was your battery life. And then I think your body armor was your steps. So that was really cool. That's something that's different about this GoldenEye 007 app on this watch that was different from the other one. But on this one, the left and the right is basically your battery life for the game, or for the watch. I mean, not the game, but and
that's awesome, man.
Yeah, this unfortunately though, this sometimes it kind of glitches out, so it'll just show kind of the background. It won't show the face. It'll just show like the hands of the clock. So sometimes I got to change it, and that could be due to because I don't shut the watch off very often, which I should. Right. But yeah, I mean because your watch was your laser in the game. Obviously this doesn't have a laser. Kind of reminds me of Toy Story. It's like that's not a laser; it's a little light bulb that blinks. That Woody.
You're gonna blink him to death.
Yeah, Woody tells Buzz. Yeah.
That's good stuff. That's awesome, dude. That's cool. That's cool. I don't wear watches, so I don't have any cool.
Yeah, I was a watch person when I was in high school and stuff like that, and before, and then after I wasn't a watch person. But then when I got my Active 2, I and it's a smartwatch, because it's basically essentially like having your phone on your watch.
Right.
Yeah. And so this is my second one, and I love it, man. So now this is the 4, now they have a 7 out. So
golly.
Yeah. But these watches are great, man. You can do all kinds of things with it. And just having the 007 watch face on there is what makes it more enjoyable, at least for me personally. So
yeah, for sure, man.
I mean, who wants a person of your loved one or your kids on there? No, nobody wants that. I want a video game. So
I mean, my I got apps all over it, but yeah, I've got the kiddos on mine. But again, if I had a watch, I would probably do something cool like that too. Like, I didn't realize you could do some of that stuff with those things. So
yeah, well, at least with the Samsung ones, the iPhone ones, I think are a little more like personal.
Stick with Samsung. Stick with Samsung.
Yeah.
Want to go
all you Apple users out there.
Oh, we're gonna start a feud now. No. So let's we are right at an hour. I like it. We're making good progress. We're right at the hour mark. Finished up talking about 007. We are at that point in time. Now I'm going to let you decide whether or not you want to jump into the bracket right now, or if you want to go into the pop culture section where we talk about what was released at the same time as 007. Which one you want to do first?
We can do the bracket. We can do the pop culture stuff at the end.
All right, we'll do pop culture at the end, which is always fun to do. So as we talked about, when we did the last one, we did 12 characters from the first 4 episodes of the show that we minus the wrestling one of the games that we talked about. So we did A Link to the Past, we did Sonic the Hedgehog, we did all 3 Marios. I think that was it, and that was the bracket. We had Chat GPT basically write wrestling matches and tell us who wins the match and how they win it. And they decided who moved on all the way to the end and became champion of that bracket. If you remember, Princess Zelda from A Link to the Past went all the way through and won the first bracket. So
completely destroyed everybody.
Basically destroyed everybody, man. Beat Mario. I think she beat Bowser. She beat Sonic in the championship. So this was a little different. This was a little bit more of, I guess, more real people in this. I guess you could say it. I mean, they're not real people, obviously, but they're not like a hedgehog or whatever. But let's throw this up here real quick. This is our bracket. So I'm not sure if you guys can tell who everybody is, but that top 2 section, we've got Mr. Grimm and Calypso from Twisted Metal. And then the first round bye for Twisted Metal is Sweet Tooth. The next bracket down, you've got Marge and Bart, obviously with Homer getting the first round bye. The next one down is Super Punch-Out, which we talked about last week. Super Macho Man and Mr. Sandman are the first 2. And then the one who got the first round bye is Nick Bruiser, who's the final boss in the game, or the final fighter. And then the last one is the game we just talked about today. So we've got Oddjob and Natalia Simonova.
I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
I think it's Simonova. Natalia Simonova, and then obviously James Bond gets the first round bye. So we plugged this into Chat GPT. Not sure who all is in the chat right now. Oh, Autumn's still here. I like it. Yes, Zelda. She enjoyed the first one. Let's move. Let's get this knocked out. See if we can get this done in a relatively quick time frame. I gotta get back over to the brand here. All right, Calypso versus Mr. Grimm. We got Calypso. I guess do you wanna chime in on who you think's going to win each fight?
Calypso and who? Mr. Grimm?
Mr. Grimm.
I'm going to say Mr. Grimm.
All right, put your votes in the chat. Calypso tries to manipulate the referee, offering wishes in exchange for leniency, but Mr. Grimm stays unfazed. Counters Calypso's antics with brutal motorcycle chain-assisted lariat, knocking him out for the 3 count. So Mr. Grimm moves on in the first round. Next up, Marge versus Bart. Mother versus son.
I'm gonna go Marge. Yeah,
Marge.
I could see Marge pulling out that vacuum, man, and just beating Bart with it, man. So.
Marge triumphs in a playful yet hard-fought family showdown. Bart uses a skateboard for quick strikes and tricks, but Marge counters with her vacuum cleaner to sweep him off his feet. So you were correct. Marge moves on to the second round. So we got a husband and wife showdown. We are at Super Macho Man and Mr. Sandman.
Oh, yeah.
This one's a short.
Mr. Sandman.
I'm going Mr. Sandman. All right, Mr. Sandman. After ducking a wild spin, Mr. Sandman hits his Dream Crusher uppercut, knocking Macho Man out for the cold, hard pin. Mr. Sandman, you're 3 for 3 so far, sir.
Wow.
And Stich has not seen these. He has no idea who's going to win. So I screwed that one up, didn't I? Anyway, the next matchup is Natalia versus Oddjob, and I've already ruined who's going to win that one. But Oddjob capitalizes, throwing an iconic razor edge hat to distract her, then rolls her up with a handful of tights for the 3 count, solidifying his status as the ultimate heel. So Oddjob moves on. All right. Round 2. Sweet Tooth versus Mr. Grimm.
I'm going to go Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth and Mr. Grimm collide in a brutal, no-holds-barred spectacle. The turning point comes when Sweet Tooth retrieves a concealed ice cream scoop from his boot, jabbing it into Mr. Grimm's ribs behind the referee's back, which was enough to secure the victory. Sweet Tooth moves on. Husband and wife, who you got?
I'm going to go Homer. Yeah.
Homer Simpson. Marge seizes the moment by wrapping him up with the vacuum cord, tripping him to the mat. She follows up with a spinning vacuum cleaner slam, knocking the wind out of Homer. With the crowd chanting her name, Marge scores the pin.
Wow.
Marge with the upset, I feel.
I think we're going to have another Princess Zelda.
You think so, huh?
Yeah.
We may have a... yeah, you might. I mean, she's up against Sweet Tooth next, so we'll definitely see. All right, we got Nick Bruiser versus Mr. Sandman.
Ooh. I'm going to go Nick Bruiser. He needs to put in work. He didn't earn his bye. He needs to earn why he's in the bye. So come on.
Nick Bruiser and Mr. Sandman deliver a slugfest worthy of a main event status. The momentum shifts when Bruiser counters a charging haymaker with his devastating Bruiser breaker, spinning double-handed overhead slam that sends Sandman crashing to the mat. Nick Bruiser moves on. And the last, certainly not least of the second round, we've got James Bond versus Oddjob. What you got?
I'm going to go 007, man.
007. Oddjob turns the tide with his trademark razor edge hat toss, slicing the ropes and causing Bond to stumble. Taking advantage of the chaos, Oddjob delivers a sneaky low blow while the referee is distracted, followed by a devastating short-statured power slam. Oddjob hooks the leg for the 3 count, securing his controversial spot in the semifinals.
Wow. That's ridiculous.
Semifinals. Sweet Tooth versus Marge Simpson.
Sweet Tooth, come on. Come on. We got to beat Marge. Her and her vacuum cleaner are not winning. I'm sorry. They're just not.
All right, these so semifinal number 1, yeah. All right, Sweet Tooth isn't easily beaten. He powers back with his signature fire-breathing headbutt, knocking Marge to the mat and causing a shockwave through the arena. With Marge dazed, Sweet Tooth pulls out his twisted steel pummel, slamming her into the mat with brutal force. Despite her valiant efforts, Marge can't escape the chaos that Sweet Tooth thrives in, and he lands his flaming suicide dive, crashing her to the outside. He rolls back in to secure the pin, earning the hard-fought victory.
Yes.
Sweet Tooth is in the finals.
No more vacuum for you, Marge. Cheater.
And we are now down to Nick Bruiser versus Oddjob.
All right. Man, you know what? Oddjob. Yep. I'm going with Oddjob.
The semifinals clash between Nick Bruiser and Oddjob is a battle of brute strength versus cunning strategy. Bruiser, the powerhouse, opens strong, throwing massive hammer fists and a series of overhead slams, shaking the ring. Bruiser's dominance is briefly interrupted by Oddjob's crafty nature. As Bruiser charges him, Oddjob ducks, using his agility to slide under the ropes, making it appear as though he is trying to catch his breath. When Bruiser follows him to the outside, Oddjob grabs a hidden brass knuckle from under the ring, delivering a cheap shot to Bruiser's jaw when the referee's back is turned. Bruiser stunned, Oddjob rolls him back into the ring with a quick low blow knee strike before locking in a sneaky pin.
Nice.
Oddjob is in the finals, and here we are.
Looks like Oddjob's going to prevail, just like he, prevailed on all those multiplayer matches I played with him, and made everybody mad too.
Yep.
All right, Oddjob, come on.
The final match: Sweet Tooth versus Oddjob.
Come on.
Oddjob attempts to cheat early, tossing his razor-edge hat at Sweet Tooth's head. But Sweet Tooth catches it in midair and with a sinister grin shoves it back in Oddjob's face. Furious, Oddjob resorts back to trying to low blow Sweet Tooth, but the larger opponent blocks and attempts to retaliate with a devastating suplex that shakes the ring. The final moments is when Sweet Tooth lifts Oddjob onto his shoulders and delivers a massive flame-fueled pile driver, cracking the mat with incredible force. Sweet Tooth pins Oddjob, finally overcoming the crafty underdog to claim the victory and cement his place as tournament champion.
Boo!
Stich is got the thumbs down here, but I did have it. It's got one quick. So Sweet Tooth wins. So it's the second annual. I said annual. The second winner. Let me see if there's any chats. There's nobody in the chat. I do have one post-match segment that happened. As Sweet Tooth stands in the center of the ring, basking in the mixed reactions from the crowd after his victory, he lifts his arms in triumph. His twisted smile, wide and manic. Suddenly, the sound of a familiar orchestral theme fills the arena, and the crowd erupts into cheers. The iconic Zelda's Lullaby plays, sending a wave of excitement through the fans. The lights flicker from the entrance. Princess Zelda steps out, regal and composed, her gaze locked on Sweet Tooth. A video begins to play on the Titantron showing clips of Zelda dominating the competition in the first ever tournament, defeating Princess Peach, Mario, Bowser, and Sonic the Hedgehog in epic fashion. Each clip is more devastating than the last, a testament to her incredible skill. Zelda walks down to the ramp with unwavering confidence, ignoring the chaos around her. As she steps into the ring, Sweet Tooth's eyes her with a mixed curiosity and malice. They come face to face, neither backing down. The tension is palpable in the air. The crowd holds its breath as the two powerful forces lock eyes, and then the screen cuts to black. So there we have it. Sweet Tooth takes the number 2 bracket.
I wanted Sweet Tooth to beat Marge, but I didn't. But
You
I didn't
want
want
it to beat
him to do
Oddjob?
the whole thing. Yeah.
I thought Oddjob was going to do it. I thought Oddjob was going to be the Princess Peach. I thought he was going to be the underdog that, even though we know how well he did in the actual 007 game. But
yeah.
All right. So let's end this as we end every other episode, and let's talk about the sorry, I got to hop back over here. Pop culture. The movie that was released at the same month that 007 was released, which was in August of 1997. It is a classic film. I know I've seen it a couple times. Stitch, I know you've probably seen it a couple times.
I might even own it.
Huh?
I said I might even own it. I've got more movies than Blockbuster, so.
Well, Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore, so that's not hard to do.
That's false, sir. There's one left. There's one left, and it's
I thought they closed that one, didn't they?
No, it's in Bend, Oregon.
No. Then maybe you do.
There.
Maybe you do own more than them. So anyway, here's the movie that was released in August of 1997.
Was almost human.
Hey, boy, come again.
Until he hit the corn.
No way.
And became a real animal. On August 1st, the dog is in the house. Ain't no rules in the dog can't play basketball. Can someone cover that dog? Y'all ready for this? Disney stare bug. Does he dribble? No, but he might drool a little bit. Rated PG. Starts Friday, August 1st.
Good old Air Bud.
Do you own it?
No.
Really?
No, I don't. There's, you know what? A lot of those older Disney movies, I don't own. So, but the original one was the best one. But all the other Air Bud movies that came out after, no, they just weren't.
Football, the soccer, like every sport imaginable. I'm sure there's a hockey one.
Probably, yeah. They have like the Air Buddies one. Yeah, not so much.
I agree.
Kind of like all the 007 games that came out after GoldenEye.
Yeah. So the let's go with the action figures, just because I don't want to end on this one because I don't know what this is. The toy that came out at the same time as this movie, or as this game. Was called the Spawn action figures. Did you have some of these? You're shaking your head. Yes.
I actually didn't have them, but my cousin actually, I think, had a Spawn and the clown. I can't remember what the clown's name was, but
yeah.
But it's Spawn, dude. Spawn's an actual awesome movie because Spawn is comic book. It's a comic book character, and Spawn. They have one Spawn like real live action movie, and it's actually pretty awesome. It's old. It's old. It's like 90s, like late 90s, but it's still pretty.
That's what we're talking about here is the 90s. So
yeah, it's a good movie.
All right, so the last two things, we go to TV show. This TV show debuted in August 1997, and I know you've seen this one.
I'm going down to South Park, gonna have myself a time.
1997.
That's when I debuted. Yep, August of '97.
That was a
I was
different
never
influence.
I was never a huge South Park fan. I didn't watch it much. I know there was a lot of references in it in school growing up and things. So I mean, I felt like I was out of the loop on some of the stuff that people would talk about. But yeah. Did you watch much of it?
Not religiously like a lot of people have, but when I was a kid, when I was younger, I remember like loving the show because it was just it was great. And you know what's funny is there was a game that was very similar to GoldenEye 007, which was a South Park game on Nintendo 64. And it was a first-person shooter game. And it had multiplayer and single player. And it was actually a really good game because one of the weapons that you could have in the game was a snowball. And you could have a yellow snowball. So you would basically, it would you push some sort of button or did something, and it would make. I actually have the game. It's actually in the other room, along with 007. But it made the P noise and the zipper unzipped and the P noise, and you'd come up and you'd have the yellow snowball. South Park. The very first South Park game for Nintendo 64 was an awesome game. And it was very similar on how it was compared to GoldenEye 007. It was very similar. And it was a very fun game. It really was.
Yeah, like I said, I think South Park is this still going
it's
today?
Still going on, yes. Just like The Simpsons. It's still going strong.
That's wild.
Simpsons is like 30-something seasons. South Park is, I think, like early 30s maybe. And I think Simpsons are late like 30s in like how many seasons they have. But yeah. So.
Nice.
I don't know how many, but I guess we could,
Could do a little Google machine check in on that and find out. All right. So last but not least, we've got I added this, I think, last week. This is where we got the copyright infringement. Was the TV show that ended the same month as this game came out. So we always start with what started, but this TV show actually ended in August of 1997. It was actually one of my wife's favorite kids shows growing up. And actually we still turn it on every once in a while, and the boys will watch it a little bit. So let's check it out.
Let this be a normal field trip with a friend? No way!
Good old Magic School Bus, man.
One of my wife's favorites, man. Please let this be a normal school trip.
Yep. So 26 seasons of South Park. I thought it had more seasons than that because it premiered on February 8th, 2023 and ended on March 29th. But it was only 6 episodes. And with that season, it surpassed Arthur as the second longest running animated series in the United States. And of course, behind Simpsons. So
that's wild. Arthur's one of my wife's favorite shows too. It's got a damn good catchy theme song.
Yeah, and there's 36 seasons of The Simpsons. So yeah.
So 26 of South Park and 36 of The Simpsons?
Yeah, 26 of South Park, yeah. So and I think they actually said there's supposed to be more episodes this year, I think. So it could be because they've done a lot of special episodes. They did like COVID, post-COVID, and some other stuff. So
right.
I don't follow South Park like that, but I may get bored one of these days and watch all the seasons. So
that's a lot.
Because if you want to get offended, South Park is definitely the show.
Especially those real early ones, like really all the way up until like probably. I mean, they're all still pretty rough, but
yeah, probably.
But yeah, I would say anything pre-COVID or 2018, yeah. Especially them early when we were still in high school and even middle school. Got 97. I was in elementary school. I was still like 5th grade.
Yeah.
6th, whatever. But well, that about does it. Next week. So we have not decided what we're going to do yet on video game wise. I do want to, and I know we might pick. Because I know we did 80s and 90s, and right now we're kind of sticking right around the early to mid 90 realm. I want to get and jump backwards into the 80s a little bit. I want to do some more regular Nintendo, but also we've got an entire system we haven't even touched yet, and that's the Atari. So maybe we can do some research this week and see if we can. We don't have to necessarily do just one game since they are. A lot of those games are just real basic. We might be able to pick like we did with Super Mario Brothers and do like 3 Atari games, and see what happens. And we'll see. I mean, we haven't done Sega Saturn, we haven't done Game Boy, we haven't done Dreamcast. So we've got some platforms we haven't touched yet. So, and a lot more games for every one of those. So the options are endless. So I think what's going to happen next week, and I'll see what Stich we have. This is off the cuff. I'll probably talk to you, but I'm going to try to talk you into going back into the Wayback Machine, and probably before you were born, and talk some Atari.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And maybe go ahead.
Yeah, Pong is definitely.
Pitfall, Asteroids. There's a lot of good beginner. I think Asteroids was on Atari. I know it was a arcade, but yeah, I think we do some research and pick. Maybe you pick one, I pick one, and then hell, Jason had so much fun. He said he'd be a third wheel on the show, and he's older than both of us, and he would be able to talk a little bit more about some of the Atari games. Maybe we bring him on to. I think Pitfall was one of the ones he liked the most for Atari. So
yeah, Chase.
Anyway.
I know Chase had I think a couple different Ataris actually. I think he had the regular Atari. I think he had maybe the Jaguar. He actually, I think a long time ago said he was actually going to let me have one, and then never did. But I mean, so
never say never. It can still happen.
I doubt he even still has them. So.
Yeah.
A lot of time has passed since that day.
Yeah.
He did give me all his Ninja Turtle action figures, which I still got, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because he had all his toys in his room, and I had to go, searching for the pieces and the parts, and I still got them. So
it's awesome.
They're at my mom's. You're closer to those than I am.
I am just a hop, skip, and a jump, and I'm just a walk through a frigid snow-filled road away from your house.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry.
But remember, hey, you remember when I got mad and I
do.
walked home?
That's why I said a snow-filled road. A walk away from the snow-filled road. Yeah. Oh man. Anyway, guys, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. CR Media, Chase, Autumn, even for the brief moment, Maddie McDonald was in the house. Probably won't be in the house very much during these episodes, but if you're a hot tag listener, you probably know why. Appreciate everybody. We are this is episode 8. Next week's gonna be 9. What's the my screen went black there. It's gonna be actually we'll have to talk. I'm gonna be out of town next week.
Okay.
So we'll discuss it. Maybe we can give you the keys to the kingdom and let you run this show next week. Maybe get Chase on. We're gonna have Chase come on here with me. He knows how to run StreamYard.
Who run the show? Who are you talking to?
You.
Oh, you're talking to me?
You host an episode. Maybe you talk to Chase because I'm not because I am gonna be in Wichita next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. Maybe we talk to Chase. We're on his platform right now on CR Media. There's 0 viewers from that platform right now, but let's do it. Let's you maybe talk to Chase and just find a game you guys want to do, and then we'll let it keep going. I'll be off next week, and you guys can take over. So
yeah,
or not, and we can just skip a week. It's totally up to you.
Yeah, it depends.
But the week after that, we're going to Atari. So
okay.
And then also, I am going to play a little clip before we get to the ending video. But again, like I mentioned at the top of the show, the I-70 Hot Tag is back. We're returning on December 5th, which is that Thursday. And we're going to start promoting our local wrestling scene here in the Kansas and Missouri area. And we'll do that probably on a bi-weekly basis. We are leading right up into the holidays, so we may get 1 or 2 episodes into the beginning of the year. But Stich, do you have anything before we close this bad boy out?
No, not at all, man. Not at all. That was a good show.
Was a great show. Great show. For myself, the real Josh Elliott, for my buddy over here, Stich, an effing Mania, Derrick Stich. We appreciate each and every one of you. Hopefully, Stich and somebody will see you next week. And as always, let's get nostalgic.